Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new John Marx mixtape, Cisgender Jesus. Here we have the fifth self-made, self-produced mixtape by producer, songwriter extraordinaire John Marx. Now, if I'm being honest, I didn't know too much of John Marx outside of the one time I duetted him on TikTok, and apparently he has a song dedicated to me about having intercourse with a horse. So I went into this record not exactly knowing what to expect, and overall, while I can appreciate the aesthetic sensibilities put forward and the effort, I guess it has an underwhelming delivery. I think the standout of the mixtape is the titular track, Cisgender Jesus 2025 mix. Aesthetically, the opening track, it is an ELECTROCLASH banger with big grooving bass lines similar to early 9 Inch Nails tracks. It's as if Fuck the Pain Away by Peaches had sex with Trent Reznor. And while in theory I think that sounds like a match made in heaven, the song doesn't necessarily stick the landing like I hoped it would. I think the standouts would be the ridiculous lyrics of the track. Lyrics like, I like my Jesus tall, I like my Jesus thick. Oh, and he's got a natural penis, and he's got more girth than Venus. And while it is very catchy and very novel, reminiscent of Lady Gaga's early work, the ending of the track leaves a lot to be desired. After this track, it does go into a song called Born Into. I don't know if song is the right word to describe it, maybe more of an interlude. It's this very manic and bizarre voicemail seemingly sent by John Marx's father, with this bizarre, grinding, gritty analog synthesizer slowed down in the background. Having these two songs at the front of the album kind of does establish the tension that the mixtape is trying to do. Part of the mixtape is trying to explain a grandiose desire for fame, fortune, and success, which is in conflict with a genuine artistic desire to explain trauma. We have tracks like Money Baby Acid Remix and Famous Fool, which are sort of tongue-in-cheek, very on-the-nose descriptions of what John Marx wants. And while I can appreciate the more bubblegummy, tongue-in-cheek, hyperpop adjacent vibe of Money Baby Acid Remix, the vocal mixing on this is kind of inaudible at points. The mixing and mastering is very all over the place on this mixtape and does make it difficult to listen to at points. A song like Famous Fool is about a desperate attempt to try and get fame by any means necessary, whether that is stealing from other people or acting as outrageous as possible. It's very kitschy, very campy, very tongue-in-cheek, and I do think it is a standout on the album, but these songs that are about a desire for fame and fortune are in contention with songs like I Wanna Kill My Dad V2. And I think that I Wanna Kill My Dad is a standout on this mixtape. Dipping back into those ELECTROCLASH tendencies, it sounds like it was heavily inspired by LCD Soundsystem. The lyrics are very direct and very grotesque to the point that it becomes almost cringe, but I do believe that is the point. Gonna fuck another child, their innocence defiled, was the sex just fast and wild, kill yourself. And while the first half of the song is short, snappy, to the point, very hard-hitting, direct, the second half is very repetitive and very cyclical and just sort of repeats the phrase, I wanna kill my dad, over and over until it fades slowly into I wanna love myself. And while I can sympathize with the messaging, ending with I wanna love myself is a bit childish. The lyricism on this album is so direct to the point that it's almost like it's Brat, but not as good as Brat. And while I think the mixing and mastering on I Wanna Kill My Dad V2 is a standout on the album, I really do think it needs to be hammered home how hodgepodge it does sound. Tracks like To Be a Rock Star are peaking at various points, and this incomplete sound does give it some sort of a charm, but I can't anticipate myself listening to it more than just a few times. Now, the second half of the album is much more experimental. If the first 7 songs were trying to be more pop-focused, the second 7 songs are kind of all over the place. There are many short auditory experiments that don't last more than just a minute or so. It's Smells Like Children adjacent, which it sounds interesting, but it's not a cute look to use Marilyn Manson as a reference now. I do think songs like 82, 58, 6 and CLONAZEPAM are really interesting works of ambient, but the rest of the second half of the mixtape seems like it's more style over substance. There are some fully fledged songs on the second half of the mixtape. Coming On sounds like a very weird, stripped back, drugged out version of early Prince work. And My First Love Song sounds like Public Strain's more noisier works. So while I can appreciate the themes and overall aesthetics of this mixtape, and I'm interested to see where he goes in the future, the mixtape is lacking. Which, yes, this is a mixtape, which means it's kind of permitted to be a little rough around the edges, but I feel like this one is slightly too rough. I think it is slightly too ambitious and does sound unfinished, so I'm thinking a strong 3 on this one. Transition. Have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head, another video you can check out. Hit that up or like to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, John Marx, Cisgender Jesus, forever.